hello. Hi, Craig, Nikki. I know you're watching. Um, yeah, so I am back again for accessibility. This is part 3. After every time I do this talk, I wonder if the team at Cocoaheads will let me come back. And yeah, they let me come back again. So joke's on them. Okay, so let's get started. That's not how you do slides. There you go. So previous talk. So last year and the year before, these are just some of the things I covered. There's a whole bunch of information there. Custom actions, dynamic type. What else we got there? FaceTime sign language detection. If you haven't seen them, I'd recommend going to my website and watching them. Just watch them at double speed, hear me talk like a chipmunk, and just absorb some of that content. Each year I'm trying to build onto that. And sometimes I'm revisiting some of the stuff, but just trying to add on to it. Tonight's talk, what will I be talking about tonight? Didn't do accessibility audit. I'm going to do a where are they now? If you've watched previous talks, you'll know what I'm talking about. Look at some of the new iOS 15 accessibility features. Look at some accessibility code from iOS 15. And then just some WWDC resources. So it's there's not a lot, but there's a lot of stuff in there. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Aaron. You can find me on Twitter. I'm at Azor. I am a senior iOS engineer. I'm very passionate about accessibility, and I'm always championing accessibility. I'm always that person that always says, have you thought about accessibility? How does this work with VoiceOver? How does this work with switch control? Is the color contrast right? I'm always pushing that. And this year I got a new job. I now work at Afterpay. I started there about 9 months ago, and we released our app last week, Money by Afterpay. It's pretty cool. And also, disclaimer: my views and opinions don't reflect my current employer. I'm not here to represent Afterpay. I'm just here representing myself, teaching you hopefully about some accessibility stuff. So I've been doing this the last 2 years. I've been picking on these 3 apps. I wouldn't say picking on it. I'm just raising defects. That's what I'm doing. But this year I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I thought I would spread the love. But spoilers, still broken, still broken, still broken. And actually, Qantas regressed because it was fixed, but never regressed, and now something else is broken. So how am I gonna spread the love of checking for accessibility? Well, I thought I'd ask a few people, what are some of the apps they use? I got this massive list of apps. I went through a whole bunch of them. I whittled it down to 12 apps. And then I thought, how am I gonna randomly pick these? I take a name out of a hat, sure, that's boring. So let's do something really fun. So I thought, let's add a wheel. Wheels are fun. And then thought, let's come up with a name. So I spoke to Nikki and said, Nikki, what's a cool name? He wasn't sure, but I then asked him for a translation for a phrase, and then he gave that to me. So the game is called Radvan on Hail. And Nikki, I probably just butchered that translation, that pronunciation. But yeah, that's the game. And so that translates to Wheel of Doom or Wheel of Mischief, depending on Google Translate what day it is. So let's do this. So we have our wheel here. Now these are the apps that I have picked. Yeah. So let's just get started. So just spin the wheel. Okay, Coles, you are up. So I'm going to see if I can do this and it not break. Okay, can you see my iPhone screen, Zach?
Looking good.
Cool, and I'm swiping. You can see the swipe?
Yep.
Cool, awesome. All right, had a few technical difficulties with this before, so I'm just trying to make sure it works. All right, so Coles. All right, let's go see Coles. So just for clarity, I've actually already ordered these apps. So I have a magical list over here of defects. So rather than going through the whole app and trying to find them, I'll just go straight to it. So, all right, where are we? Coles. So let's go into the app and turn on VoiceOver.
VoiceOver on.
Can you hear that, Zach?
Shopping method. Shop in store. Location.
Cool.
Coles Batteau
That's good.
Bay.
Cool. All right. So let's navigate down to the tab bar.
Selected.
That's all good.
Home. Tab. Favorites.
Just
Tab.
swiping
2 of
across
5.
right to go to the next item with VoiceOver on. Now, for those of you who don't know what VoiceOver is, VoiceOver is it's a gesture-based screen reader, so it reads out the content on screen. So it's up to developers to give things meaningful labels so that VoiceOver knows what to read out. So we're going to favorites. And what will happen if a
list actions
developer
button.
Does not give an accessibility label on a button,
button
like this one, someone would not necessarily know what that is. So like, okay, I know I'm on the favorites, but I've got this button that doesn't have a label, or possibly it doesn't have a trait and the label is button. So Coles, there's a defect for you. Yeah.
List actions.
So that's the first one.
Button.
All right. So let's spin the wheel again. Where will we land? Woolies. You're up.
Alert. Accessibility. Select VoiceOver off.
Okay. Woolies. And the... okay, yeah. So Woolies. It's going to go into here. And did I turn on? No. Turn on VoiceOver.
VoiceOver on. Woolworths. Delicious. Trending. Over 7,000 recipes to inspire your cooking. Heading. See Jamie's Creamy Mush. Tab bar. List. Search. Button. Search. Text field. Milk. Woolworths Drought Relief Full Cream Milk Free in progress. Product find out more here. NSW. Product details. Product details. 0 items in cart. Button.
So I don't know if this is already expanded because that's what I found the defect.
Find out more here.
But
NSW. Alert.
when
Accessibility. Select VoiceOver off.
the defect I found was, see this see more button? There's no way to interact with it.
VoiceOver on. Product details.
So it says product details.
At Woolworths, we care deeply in this new drought relief. Product details.
So
product detail at Woolworths. Find out more here. NSW, Vic, QLD and ACT only. Link. Simple goodness of Australian full cream milk.
VoiceOver is now looking at stuff behind what the content is. It's not aligned to what's on screen, which is very weird. But like the defect I originally found was I can't tap and interact with that see more. So even though I turned off VoiceOver before to close it, I can't actually unclose it, and I couldn't close it before either.
At Woolworth, find out more. Simple goodness of Australian full cream milk. Alert. Accessibility. Select VoiceOver off.
Woolies again. All right, let's skip Woolies because we've done Woolies. Let's go to this app. So Service New South Wales. Now I was actually quite surprised with this one because I'll show you why. Just got to select the iPhone again. Service New South Wales. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is my carry phone, but you can see there's a long history here of items. So I've been some places. Oh no, COVID-19 case alert. Okay, I can visually see that. That stands out to me. But if I was a VoiceOver user and I had this turned on, what would you expect to happen? Would you expect maybe some information about it or something? Can you hear that, Zach?
No, I can't hear it reading out.
Ah, damn. Okay. Please hold. VoiceOver. Confirm. Okay, should be working. All right, well, I'll turn it on and you can see the captions at the bottom. So when you do select the item, it it's bundled it together that there's a case there, but I guess like personally, I would probably think it would be like, hey, warning, this list is like this list here is supposed to tell you if you have been somewhere there's been a COVID case. So I would think that this list would sort of highlight that a little bit more. So you could, I would think you would have either a custom rotor to jump to your cases if there are any. And also when VoiceOver reads it out, it should read it out like the first thing. It should be that first thing. Like, I don't need to know about the place I've been. I care if there's been a case there. And then the other thing is when I go into here, this is not tappable. So you can see there's a COVID-19 test with a little share button, which obviously takes you out to a link of some kind. I tap that, nothing happens. It doesn't even tell me it's tappable. So I would hear that as a VoiceOver user and go, oh, okay, cool. I'll tap this. And then say, oh, nothing happens. So yeah, that was when turn this off. Okay, do we do another one, Zach? Should I do another one?
Yeah, let's do another one.
Let's do another one. Okay.
Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. Where will we land? Sorry, just jumping back to the other iPhone. It's this one, I think. Reading. Okay, cool. All right, so spin the wheel. Did we already do Woolies? I think we did.
Just a few times.
Maybe it's weighted. Qantas, look, I already ordered that one before. I'm not ordering that one. Okay, domain. All right, so domain, my cheat sheet. Oh, yeah, okay. All right, so where is it? There it is. VoiceOver.
VoiceOver on. Domain. 11 new homes.
Cool, 11 new homes. Let's have a look.
New properties. Heading. New. Trent Mullen. Back. Button. View floor plan. But 1/14. Back. New. Trent Mullen.
Defect
Close.
I had.
Button. Hello.
Hello.
Tumby to Matt.
There we go.
Inspections. Button.
Okay, so
Close. Button.
The defect I found on this is, so when at the top of that, I'm assuming it's a tab bar
Today.
or it's some kind of navigation thing. So today, sure, today is cut off, ... But when I navigate to each one of these items, it's doing them from top left to bottom right. So nothing is grouped correctly. So if I swipe to the next one, like it should have today and the 18th sort of grouped together as one UI element. But when I swipe right, it goes to Friday. So okay, Friday. So if I couldn't see those dates, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense.
Sat, sun, wed, sat.
But when I get to Saturday, I swipe right.
18.
It's now 18. I'm like, oh, well, what is this 18?
19.
What is 19?
20. 21. Ellipsis.
Ellipsis. What is ellipsis? And
ellipsis.
It's tappable. Like it acts like a button.
24.
So
ellipsis. 27. 12 inspections bullet just listed. 19 Winanda Road, Nerera, 11 a.m. 12 p. 4 beds. 2 bath, 1 part, add to planner. Just listed. 19.
Yeah. So it's just that navigation across the top.
Today.
Yeah, there you go.
Alert. Accessibility. Select VoiceOver off.
Some accessibility defects. So I'll check in next year, apps, and see how you're going. If they let me come back. So yeah, that's thank you. So there, that's Radvan on Hail. And again, I'm sorry for butchering the pronunciation. Okay, so iOS 15. That's new. That's fun. I haven't put all the features in here specifically for accessibility because it's a long list of them. I've just sort of picked out some here and there I thought were pretty cool. So first one is image descriptions. So anyone who has iOS 15 can go into an image now, add an image description, like an alt tag or an alt description. It's just basically the description describes what's in the image. And then when they share that image with someone, on iOS 15, it then sends the data with it, and then that person can also see it. So it's pretty easy to do as well. You just edit the image, and then you hit the little markup in the top right, then you hit the little plus, description, and then you type it in. So this is Mickey Mouse bag clip. This is a chip clip. And then you got to hit done a few times, and then turn on voiceover.
Voiceover on. Photos. Reset. Photo. Mickey Mouse bag clip. 15 November. Actions available. 1 of 0 honor.
And then that little
alert. Accessibility shop select. Voiceover off.
That blurb at the end. What it's doing is, I think it was last year. I don't know if it was last year or iOS 13. VoiceOver got a lot smarter, and it started reading words in images. And on the ear of Mickey Mouse, on the back here, there's like text. So it's actually pulling that out and reading it out. And that's why it went like ding, and then it read it out to let you know that this is text that's in the image. And then I'm pretty sure that feature, the team at Apple built on top of that to create live text, which is where in iOS 15, where you can scan text into text input. That's image descriptions. Another cool one is per app accessibility settings. So really useful if, let's say, the naughty developer doesn't make their app accessible and it breaks a certain way because they didn't account for a dynamic type. So the UI breaks completely, or they didn't account for button shapes, or maybe even their app is, the motion is just really severe in it, but they do support reduced motion, but you don't want to have it on all the apps, just on this one. So here you can just quite easily turn it on an app basis. So yeah, that's sort of the end of the that's a whole bunch of iOS 15 features, but just some other ones I want to quickly cover. So sound actions for switch control. This is really cool. So normally with switch control, you use something like this, which is a 2-button switch, or possibly someone in a wheelchair would have a switch on each side of their head, and they would move their head from side to side to actually use switch control. And what this allows you to do is to do clicks or pops or ease with sound coming out of your mouth to actually interact with switch control, which is really cool. What else is there? Conversation boost. So this is really cool if you are hard of hearing and you are having a conversation with someone in a noisy environment. If you have the AirPod Pros in, you can actually, when you focus on someone, it'll take out some of the ambient, like the noise around you, so that you can have almost like a direct conversation, which is pretty cool. So it's really handy if you're not at the level that you need hearing aids, but maybe you have some kind of hearing loss, so you can do that. So it's pretty cool. VoiceOver quick settings. So if you have VoiceOver turned on and you 2-finger quadruple tap the screen, it pops up the VoiceOver settings. Accessibility emoji, obviously being more inclusive and allowing you to add in oxygen tubes, cochlear implants, Gmemoji as well. Background sound. So this is if you wanted to reduce some of those, you're in a noisy environment and you want to just have that ambient background sound, such as you're at the beach or rain falling, just to reduce some of the distraction. That's built into iOS. And the last one is VoiceOver grouped navigation. So this is the, I think one of the biggest navigation changes to VoiceOver since iOS 3 when it was introduced. And it's turned off by default, but what it does is it groups all the UI elements together. So if you were to look at a toolbar, which has multiple icons on it, normally with the current VoiceOver navigation, you swipe right and you jump from each toolbar element. Where now what we'll do is you'll focus on the toolbar, and then you'll sort of go into that, and then you interact with those elements on there. So this is more in line with how Mac OS works for VoiceOver. So Apple's trying to sort of put it on the same parity, same level. Okay, now so getting some code. So new in iOS 15, audio graphs. So this is really cool because it's very straightforward. Just that one bit of code there will do what I'm about to show you. And it's basically translates like a chart into an audible sound. So I'll just hit play here. And so I've got VoiceOver turned on.
Chart representing some data.
I've swiped up.
Describe chart.
Describe chart.
Chart
double
details.
tap on the action.
Audio graph. Heading. Done. Button. Chart representing some data. Chart representing some data. Play audio graph. Button. Complete. Summary. Features. The data does. There are no statistic. Minimum. Maximum. Mean values. Mean values. 1.75 points. CCH. Screen recording in progress.
So that's audio graphs. It's really cool. So that UI you saw was all completely from iOS. You just give it this AX chart describer representable, and it will just take care of it. So yeah, so you could hear the pitch as it got louder as the chart went up, so and then back down, which is really cool. So new in Xcode 13 SwiftUI accessibility panel. So I know everyone's excited about SwiftUI, but we also have to make sure it's accessible. So this just adds in a new tab into Xcode. And as you can see, we have a VStack here with 3 UI elements, an image, text, and a button. And on the right, it's describing them and showing them how they would look. So yeah, that's like, even this code here, it's probably not even right, because I can easily see that image, does tornado make sense for the image? And also, should I make an image accessible? That should probably be turned off. And then the other thing here that's wrong is you should never, I mean, never put button in an accessibility label. You need to add an accessibility trait for that. Okay, so SwiftUI, what's this version? Is this 3? Version 3? Huge update for accessibility. There's a lot of feature parity with UIKit, which is fantastic if you're building a SwiftUI only app. Great. So accessibility representation. This is really cool if you have those custom controls that, let's say it's like a slider, or it performs like a slider, but it doesn't look like a slider. Let's say you have a slider that is a complete circle or something like that. How do you make that accessible for voiceover and voice control? So the way you do that now is you use accessibility representation, and you say, okay, it acts like this control. So this acts like a slider. So it could look however it looks. It could be a circle going around. It could be a zigzag. Could be a straight line, whatever it is. You could build your own slider. But it just means you don't have to have all that custom accessibility SwiftUI code to handle the accessibility assistive technologies. You can just say, hey, it acts like a slider, do that. And then this will basically set the correct traits, the correct way it performs with VoiceOver. It's very cool. Okay, next one. This is a feature parity feature with UIKit. I think I've spoken about this before, custom content. And so here we have a label, just one VStack, which has the label of the user's name. It's got the age, email, and address. And you can see there that the email is set to an importance of high. And so what that means is when you turn on VoiceOver and you tap, it will read out the label and then the important text. And then when VoiceOver is turned on, you swipe up and it will actually navigate through the additional content. So let's do this now.
John.aplessis@apple.com.
Let's swipe up.
One infinite loop. Cupertino. Address. John.aplessis@apple.com. Email. 34. Age. One infinite loop. Cupertino. Address.
Yeah. So that's yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay. It's feature parity. What else we got? Okay, rotors. They're very handy. So similar to the Service New South Wales app, where I was talking about the COVID case. So what you do here with SwiftUI is you would add in a rotor to say COVID cases, and you could rotate to COVID cases, and then you would swipe up and down, and you would jump to those items. It's just like on VoiceOver with the rotor for headings. So if you have VoiceOver turned on and you do like a little rotation with your fingers, it will rotate through to custom actions, and you can select headings. And when you swipe right, then instead of you going to the next element, it will go to the next heading. So you can sort of skip content. Dynamic type size, very important. This way you can set in your previews if you want to. You can use it in your code as well and just set that. It's just very handy. What else we got? Okay, custom actions. This is a feature parity with UIKit. You can now set icons on your custom actions, like your accessibility actions. It's really cool. So before you can only set text. And then I think it took the first letter of the label of the string and put that as the icon. And now you can set an icon, which is really handy if you're using a slider and you need to select 50 or you get 51, you want to select 51. Another fantastic. I've had a pain with this, trying to get this to work in iOS 14. And yeah, accessibility shows large content. So when you have your font at above 160% and you tap and hold on a button, you can see there it's popping up with plus new message. It actually, and you can give it a text and an icon, and it will show that under your finger. Because if you have your text that large, it normally means that, and you can't actually physically grow your button size, like in a toolbar or a navigation bar. This is fantastic because a user can tap on it and it will just show it larger, as opposed to you having to make your navigation bar heaps bigger and your toolbar heaps bigger. Okay, so another feature parity. This is for voice control. So I'm going to turn on voice control in this demo and this video and say show names, and it will actually show new message as the name. So if I wanted to interact with that, I would say tap new message, and it would tap that button, interact with it. Okay, full keyboard access. So this came out in iOS 14. There was a talk at WWDC this year, but I just found it really cool. So I just wanted to give you a quick demo. So basically what I've done is I've just gotten standard Apple keyboard and I've just paired it with my iPhone. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my iPhone again, and I'm going to see how I go and change my camera to this one. So hopefully, there you go. So you can see top down now, Zach? And you can see my...
Yes, but do you want to stop sharing the iPhone screen so that we can see it larger?
Well, I want you to see both.
Okay, cool.
So it doesn't matter too much about the top down. I just wanted to show you what I was actually doing on the keyboard. So
no
you can
worries.
see where I'm tapping. Also recommend developing inclusive mobile apps. You should go get that book. It's great. Okay, so I have my iPhone here. And what I'm going to do, I've already paired the keyboard with my iPhone. You can see there, AFS at home keyboard. So what I'm going to do is go into accessibility, and anyone can do this. Anyone has a keyboard, anyone, Bluetooth keyboard. And I recommend you doing it because I found so many defects with iOS 14 using a keyboard than I did with VoiceOver. And I actually fixed all the VoiceOver defects, and I thought, okay, sweet, we're pretty good. And then because I assumed keyboard used the same hierarchy, accessibility hierarchy as VoiceOver, it doesn't. So it's almost another thing to test. So I'm going to turn on full keyboard access, and hopefully I've got the right keyboard. There we go. So on the screen now in settings, you can, so commands is now selected. So the content of the main body of the view is highlighted with the blue box around it. And then the commands is what I'm currently selecting. So all I'm doing on my keyboard is pressing the up and down arrow to get around. And so previously when I've seen keyboard used, I've only ever seen it used with VoiceOver. So I assumed it was just like using VoiceOver, but this way you don't have to use VoiceOver. Like you can use your keyboard without having to use VoiceOver. So if I go Tab H, was it Command H? Yeah, Command H to go home. And then I can now navigate around using the up and down arrow keys. And if I go down there and press the right arrow, I can go across, go into this app here, dev. Oh, something went wrong. Cool. That's always good fun. That's okay. I probably should be going on the prod anyway. Apple Pay. And yeah, so I can navigate around using keyboard. And what else we got? So it's really cool. You can also do gestures. So if I go Tab G, but now what it's doing is it's turned gestures on. So now using the right arrow key, I'm swiping, simulating a swipe. Okay, look at this app. Let's see what this app does. So I turn off gestures, go into Petty. Let's see how well this app works. It's pretty good. Very good. So yeah, that's full keyboard access. It's I like it. Like I think it's really cool. And I recommend you testing your apps with full keyboard access.
That last app works a little better than I expected.
Yeah, it works pretty well, Zach. Oops, that's the one. Keep doing the wrong keys. It does take a little bit of getting used to. So like so normally you tap your screen, but to actually interact, you press spacebar, and then you can scroll up and down. So selecting the items. So and then if you want to get, so at the moment I'm on the body of the content. So if I press the tab key, so it jumps down outside of that into the tab bar, and then I press the left arrow key to go to the items in that. And then I'm back in the content. Yeah, that works. You've done well, Zach. It's like you had planned me to do this, and I can't.
Not the slightest.
Yeah, so that's full keyboard access. It's fun. You should definitely go test your app. Except Zach's pretty good now. So.
Aaron tests my app for me. Aaron?
No problem. Okay. All right. So you don't need to see the top-down view anymore. So let's swap that back. Okay. So that's pretty much all the features I wanted to run through. So yeah, it's pretty short talk tonight. Zach sort of made me stay within my half an hour. I've gone 2 minutes over. For this WWDC, there was a few features, a few videos you should go check out. Notably that second last one there, support full keyboard access in your iOS app. Summer does a fantastic job of explaining it, a lot better than what I just did. And she shows you some code on how to fix some things. You can do shortcut keys as well, which I can't remember if that's new in this version of SwiftUI, but you can do shortcut keys jumping around using full keyboard access. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I've got a slide for, oh yeah. Anyway, yeah, final thoughts. Go make your app accessible. If you go to my website, azor.com, I actually have a post there that has all of the accessibility WWDC sessions. I went back through all of them that were publicly available and just listed links to all of them, so you can go through and check all them out. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks heaps for that, Aaron. And as always, I learned a bunch. I didn't know about the graph accessibility in SwiftUI, but that's definitely pretty cool and something I need to check out now. So yeah, thanks for the third year running. Really appreciate you coming to talk about accessibility. Hope we can make it a fourth as well.
Yeah. Please invite me back next year.
Always. No, but thanks heaps. So we're gonna jump over to a Zoom call now. I'll post the link to the Zoom in the Slack. If anyone wants to join, feel free. You can ask Aaron some questions in there if you've got them. Otherwise, we'll just have a bit of a catch up. You spin the wheel one more time, Aaron?
Yeah.
What's it gonna land on? Canva.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Thanks again. Yeah, we'll see everyone in the Zoom if you're going to join. Have a good night. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.